In life, we're going to go through many storms. A lot of us are going through a storm right now, but the storms don't last forever, but you have to tough it out. This is a time to just kind of sit back, analyze your business, and find out if there's anything you can do better to make sure you're getting some better returns, any way that you can cut any expenditures, but you can't give up. You can't give up. You have to keep going. You have to keep going. Once the storm clears, we'll all be back in happy land.
This is Small Business Celebration, where we introduce you to successful small business owners at their place of business so that you can learn something that you can use today to grow a strong and profitable business and get your next big breakthrough. Welcome to another fantastic episode of Small Business Celebration. We're going to be talking about, how do you as a small business owner actually compete against big box stores? We're also going to be talking about, you've got customers coming into your shop and they say they want to buy this, that, or the other thing. The question is, will they really? And the guys through all this is Art Ruiz, the owner of Golden State Services and Supply. Welcome to Small Business Celebration.
Great to be here, Mike.
And for Visioneers who don't know who you are you and what is it that you do?
My name is Art Ruiz. I am the owner and manager of Golden State Restaurant Services, where we offer and provide new and used equipment and anything basically you need for restaurants. We make it available to the restaurant and to the general public as well.
This isn't your first business.
No. My first business was actually restaurants.
You went into the restaurant business first.
Yes, I did. And that's what gave me the experience to come into this business.
Now, I have heard that the worst thing that a cook or a chef can do is open up their own restaurant. Was this the case for you?
Our very first restaurant? Yes, it was.
You fell into the trap.
It was a colossal failure. One that we learned from, though.
Why was it a failure?
Because of a lack of experience. Many of us think that we've got the experience because we cook really good in the kitchen.
Right.
But it's a lot different to cook in the kitchen for a family of 6 than it is to cook for customers in a restaurant that are ordering different things from the menu, not just one item.
Are you saying there's a business behind being a chef?
There's a whole business that has to be learned.
What's the biggest lesson that a lot of restaurateurs fail at, or the mistake that they make when they say, you know what, I'm a really good cook, I think I'm going to open up a restaurant? Because you see this even today, week in and week out.
Basically, the logistics behind it. People, again, because they cook at home and they cook very well, people have always complimented the food.
Right.
Think, I'm going to make it good, I'm going to kill it. But there's too many things involved in opening up a restaurant.
Like?
As far as like the prepping in the kitchen, and again, in a home atmosphere, you're just cooking the same plate to 6 people.
Right.
In a restaurant, you're cooking 20, 30 different choices to 40, 50, 60 different people.
You also have inventory management to worry about, because you need to know, what kinds of food to keep in stock, which ones not to, how the customer's tastes change. How did that also not work out when you first opened your first restaurant? When
you first open your restaurants, again, you don't know anything about portion controls or your food cost. You just have it in your mind that you cook good and you're going to go in and kill it.
Right.
But all those have to be things that you have to learn. You have to go into the business knowing this. And the second part to that is many people don't realize it, but the back of the house and also the office work is just as important as the front of the house.
How so?
The office work, for example, can bury a restaurant just as fast as not doing good customer service, not having good food out there. You lose track of your bills, your payroll, paying your bills and all that stuff, and that's going to bring you down really quick. And many of us, people going into the business, do not have that experience.
Are you saying QuickBooks is your friend and you just didn't know it?
Yes. When we learn, especially my wife does it, but when we learn QuickBooks, it's a lifesaver.
Right.
It's a lifesaver.
And then there's employees. How did that not work out when you first opened your first restaurant?
At first, when you first open up your restaurant, you want to have control of everything. But at some point, you have to give up that control. Let your employees do their job that you hired them to do.
That first restaurant closed. Did you open a second?
That restaurant was in the San Fernando Valley. Since then, my family moved out here to Bakersfield, and they started off the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and they've continued from there.
They learned their lessons the first time around, huh?
Yes. Yeah.
Why did you choose to go into the restaurant supply business instead of opening up another restaurant?
The restaurant business could be very profitable, but it also is very demanding. When everybody else is off, that's when you're working the hardest.
Right.
Because you want to spend time with your family, but you have to be at the restaurant.
Right.
So it just got to the point after 20-something years of doing it, you just get thinking, start looking for something else.
So you were in the restaurant business for 20 years?
Yes, our very first restaurant opened up in 1984.
And then you went and you opened up the restaurant supply store, how many years ago?
This was back in 2019. I think it was November 2019, right before COVID.
Congratulations,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But since then, you've grown, you've expanded. And for Visioneers who aren't familiar with your supply shop here, what kinds of things do you offer restaurants?
We try to offer everything that anybody would need for a restaurant, starting from pots and pans all the way to refrigerators and ovens and ice machines. Just anything you need to start off a restaurant.
To start off a restaurant. For a lot of restaurateurs, one of the sticker shocks is how much a refrigerator costs or how much a convection oven costs. Do you offer used equipment, refurbished equipment, new equipment? What do you offer?
I do offer a used equipment, and I think many times that is a better solution for them. We offer a 30-day warranty on our product. But what I tell people, if this is your first venture that you're going into, you want to minimize how much money you're investing into it.
Right.
Because there's no guarantee you're going to make it. In most restaurants, I don't know what the latest statistics were, but I know that many of them fail within the first year. So the last thing you want to do is buy all brand new equipment, invest a lot of money, and close your doors a year later.
Right, or less.
Or less. So what I tell them, if they're already existing business, they're doing well, and they know they're going to stay in business for another few years, then I would invest the money into getting something new, something that has got a good warranty behind it.
One of the other things that I notice is this is not the kind of supply store where you're going to find very sophisticated, ornate silverware, pots and pans and things like that. You're going to come into this supply store and you're going to find basic forks, knives, spoons, sugar jars, all the things that go through. Is it because when you do this, you're specifically going and offering your services to the restaurateur who's in year 1, 2, 3 of their business?
Yes, we do try to find, the basic things that they need to operate the restaurants, although we can order any number of things. But again, many times people don't want the nice fancy fork, at least not from the get-go when they're opening up. So we have the ability to order that, but I try to carry some of the basic stuff where it makes it a little bit easier on people's pocket.
Now, Visioneers, you probably know that one of the things I try to do with our guests is we have a conversation before we hit record on this show. And one of the things that surprised me when I went through and I was taking a look at his cutlery is how much of it ends up in the trash.
It's incredible. It's incredible. The first time I discovered it, it really blew me away because,
because it's not theft.
No, not theft,
No.
and many times not intentional at all. But we kept having to replace our silverware, buying more and more and more, and we kept thinking, well, what is going on with the silverware? So one day we just kind of looked through the trash and just a number of forks and knives and everything that we dug out of the trash, and we're thinking, how is this happening? Is somebody intentionally throwing it in there? But we come to discover that the burst person, when they go clean the tables, sometimes they mix in all the trash with the silverware, and when they go back, it's hard for them to kind of find where the silverware is at. They think they might have got it all, and then just leaving the trash in there, and they dump the whole tray in there.
And I imagine this is also the case when you walk into restaurants and they ask you, okay, will you clear your own table? So you go and you get served, or you take your food, and the customer ends up throwing the silverware into the trash by accident too.
Right. That's going to happen all the time. I mean, and it hadn't just been silverware that I found in the trash.
Oh no.
I found ramekins for the salsa. I found a server tray this big in the trash. Those, I cannot explain how those made it in there, but nonetheless they were.
What is the oddest thing that you have found that's gotten thrown into the trash?
Well, to me, it definitely had to be that server tray.
Okay.
Because the trash can.
Because it's the whole tray.
Yeah, the trash can's only got an opening about this big, and the server tray is this big.
So they had to want to get it in there.
Exactly. How did they get in there? I don't know if they put it on the ledge next to it and it fell in there, or they weren't thinking and they dumped the whole tray in there. I don't know.
Just out of curiosity, how many restaurants here in Bakersfield do you serve?
I don't have a count because from what I knew of, Bakersfield was the restaurant capital of California per capita.
Right.
So there's a number of restaurants, and aside from the restaurants, it's the lunch trucks. So I don't have a way of gauging it, but there's a number of them. Obviously, the big box stores, they get their stuff from their corporate offices.
Right.
But a lot of the smaller restaurants do come in and frequent us and shop our products.
One of the things about your store here is that if you have somebody that has a deep fryer that goes on the fritz, you repair them.
Yes, we do. We've had to learn to do a lot of things here in my business, you know,
Right.
to stay afloat.
Right.
Because if you call a technician, if I buy a fryer and it's not working, and I have to call a technician to come and fix it, I'm paying $200-300 for that.
Right.
You know. So we've learned to do that, and so we offer that to our customers now. That if they bring small appliances to us,
Right.
that we'll look it over at no charge, and then we'll call them, let them know how much it would be to fix it, and then at that point they can decide if they want to fix it or not, if it's worth it.
You have the restaurateur that's in year 3, 4, 5 of the restaurant, and they're starting to turn a profit. Now they want to upgrade their refrigerator. They want to upgrade their fryer. They want to upgrade one of their appliances. Do you do trade-ins, or how does that work?
On occasion, I do buy their equipment, maybe as a trade-in, if they do want to get rid of their 2-door refrigerator, because they've been having a little bit of problems with it, and they just want that peace of mind and get something that they know is going to work and it's got the warranty. I do on occasion do some kind of trade-in. That's something that we kind of discuss as a
On a case-by-case basis?
case-by-case basis on that, yes.
And if you've got a restaurant and it's starting to grow and really do well, and you want to go through and get some more elbow room for you and your family because of the success of your business, might I suggest you buy a new house? And reach out to Mike Saba, a Zillow Premier Agent at Watson Realty. Born and raised and never left Bakersfield. Give Mike Saba a call at 661-203-8406 or reach him at mikesaba1@icloud.com today. And Visioneers, if you've got a question, you've got a thought, something you'd like to learn about here on Small Business Celebration, reach out to us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram, and your question could appear just like Nicole, who asks, we're a small business competing against big box stores every day. What's actually worked for you to level the playing field?
That is a great question, because it's not just restaurants, it's not just my business, it's a lot of different mom and pop businesses that are going through that similar experience. The thing that I can tell that what always is going to work best, customer service. You got to give them that customer service, that passion behind it, because customers many times going lost, not knowing how to start up a business.
Right.
You know, but if you come in, and you hold them by the hand from point A to point Z and walk them through it, they're going to be very, very thankful that you took the time to help them. So the big box stores aren't going to offer that.
Right.
You know? And I worked at a big box store for 14 years. We talked to customer service, and you know, they did the best they could. But you know, when you've got that you've got that passion in your business, the big box store is not going to beat that.
What are some of the things that you do for restaurateurs that separates you from the big box stores?
With us, we can do consultations as far as let them know what they need. Many times I try to sit with the customer because of our first failure in the restaurant business,
Right.
that nobody really held our hand and told us what. I like to kind of hold their hand and go through it with them. Many people don't look at budgets. Okay, what's it going to cost to open? They're just thinking about the kitchen. You know, they forgot the tables, the chairs. They forgot about the permits.
The insurance.
The insurance. They forget about many things. And it's unfortunate to see when somebody spent $40,000 and they still can't open up and they've run out of money.
Right.
So I try to coach them through it, let them give them ideas of what to look for before they get into that business. I'm not trying to discourage them. I just want to make sure that they're not setting themselves up for failure.
And you do a lot of this coaching with the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce here in town.
On a few occasions, the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce has asked me to speak. That's a great opportunity also for somebody to get to know what to look for. The Hispanic Chamber of Commerce offers these classes, and every day they have a different speaker, going from attorneys to CPAs to business people that can give you the information you need so that you can make some good choices before you get into whatever business it is. It doesn't have to be just restaurants, it could be any business. So they gave me the opportunity to speak then. I talked about what my challenges were, how I got to be where I'm at, and I also gave them some what I feel to be sound advice.
And the most important weapon you have against the big box store, you will actually repair their appliance.
Yes, we will repair appliances if they bring them in. I don't have really a technician I can send out to the field yet. That's why I asked for them to bring them in. But once they bring them in, we can repair their appliances here.
And that brings us to the Visioneer Game. And the Visioneer Game is brought to you by Minimum Press of Bakersfield. Now, Visioneers, if you've got a product or service that you need a label, this is the month for you. For example, at Minimum Press, they are making stickers. In this case, it goes on a beer bottle. It's got the name, the logo, all kinds of other information that's required on it. Also, if you've got school spirit, yes, it's spirit season here in the education system. So if you want to show your school pride, it happens to be buy one, get one free at Minimum Press of Bakersfield. Level up your branding and your laptop or water bottle with custom labels and stickers. Call Minimum Press of Bakersfield at 661-323-7757 or visit mmpbakersfield.com. And don't forget to say, I'm calling about the November 2025 label and sticker special. Call Minimum Press of Bakersfield at 661-323-7757 or visit them at mmpbakersfield.com today. Now, Visioneers, if you're not familiar with the way the Visioneer Game works, I have a random word generator here on my phone. I have no idea what the random word the generator is going to create, but more importantly, neither does our guest. And our guest has to take each of 3 words that I give him and somehow associate each word with his business. Now, Art, you do realize the entire restaurant world, the entire restaurant industry is based on your ability to get these 3 words right. If you get one of them wrong, nobody's going to be able to have a dining experience ever again because nobody's going to be able to have a restaurant.
That's a lot of pressure, Michael. A lot of pressure.
All right, your first word is extend.
You always want to extend a helping hand to the person coming to you asking for advice. You want to help them through whatever it is that they're going through, and just make a friend, make a relationship from that. You know, and they'll come back and they'll thank you. And you know, I've heard situations where they're coming back and say, hey, you know, you probably don't remember, but months or a couple years back, you know, you really helped me through this. So you want to extend a helping hand.
Nice, that's 1 for 1. Well done, you. You're on a roll.
First one.
Your second word is intelligence.
You know, I think it takes intelligence to know what we're missing. And so if I could tell anybody anything is, you know, you need to get that knowledge. And knowledge, obviously, you have to be intelligent to go out and look for that knowledge, but you need that knowledge to know what it is that you need to do. Don't go into it blindly.
Nice, that's 2 for 2. It all comes down to this.
Last one, let's do it.
Excess.
Don't pay excess money anywhere else, come over here.
I love it, I love it. Nice, that's 3 for 3. You've saved the restaurant world. All is well now. Now people can go out and have fine dining.
Enjoy your dinner. Enjoy your dinner, knowing that the world is safe.
And because you've had this life-changing experience on Small Business Celebration and Save the World, who would you like to thank?
Marcus Harris, thank you very much, from Zip Appliances.
Okay.
They've been very instrumental in kind of partnering up with us. I say we do repairs here in-house, but whenever it's a bigger job and I don't have the technicians, you know, Marcus sends his people out there and they get the job done.
How long have you known Marcus?
It's probably been a couple years since I've been here at this location. Not sure how we came into contact. I know Jake had a lot to do with it. That's really my first contact with them. So it was a couple years, not sure how it happened, but we've got to form a pretty good working relationship.
You're glad you met him.
Definitely, definitely.
And that brings us to our second Visioneer question, which is also brought to you by Mike Saba, a Zilliper agent with Watson Realty, selling Bakersfield homes since 1992. Give Mike Saba a call at 661-203-8406 or reach him at mikesaba1@icloud.com today. Visioneer Carlos asks, as a small business owner, it's tough deciding what to stock. How do you balance what actually sells versus what the customers say they want?
That is another great question, because obviously anything that you carry costs money.
Right.
Your inventory is an investment. It's an investment. So you have to be very, how would I say it, knowledgeable about what you want to carry, because you want to get your bang for the buck. What I look at is, again, because of my experience in the restaurant business, you know, I can look at what it takes to set up a kitchen and know what they need. Some things that are harder for me and that I might not carry, I'll give for an example a pizza shop. Pizza shops need a pizza oven. Okay?
And it's a very specialized piece.
Very specialized just to pizza restaurants.
Right.
You know, I want something that I can offer to every restaurant. That same pizza shop needs refrigerators.
Right.
Right. So I would rather invest my money in the refrigerators and in the pizza oven. If I have to, I could possibly order it for them.
Right.
But I would not tie up my inventory dollars in a pizza oven.
When you have a whole series of customers that keep coming in over and over and over and over again saying, can you carry this kind of napkin dispenser or this kind of condiment squeegee thing? At what point do you say, yeah, there's enough people asking for this, I should carry that?
Yes, because and the industry changes.
What's that line though? When do you know I need to start carrying that?
You know, typically if you have 2, maybe 3 customers asking for that same item that you don't have, it's probably time to bring it in. And because there's always changing items that, you know, with everything changing, the food presentation, the preparation of the food, there's always different tools that become available. So it is very essential, again, that you need to listen to your customers. What is it that they're asking you for? And if it makes sense, you bring it in.
At what point do you say that item isn't moving enough? I need to discontinue carrying it.
You know, if you can't get a sale of that one item, at least probably like one a month, it's probably time to try to get your inventory dollars out of that and put it into something else that does move, that does turn your money.
Have you ever had a customer come in and said, I have been looking all over town for that, and you're the only place in town that has it?
When you're talking about something more specific, like maybe my tortilla presses,
Right.
or maybe the tortilla griddles,
Right.
You know, people sometimes struggle to find things like that, and
Right.
we've had them here. You know, I do, as long as it makes sense, I do try to bring in those items that people do look for that I know that aren't really easily available here in Bakersfield.
What is the number one thing that owning a restaurant supply store has taught you about the restaurant business that you didn't know when you were owning a restaurant?
What I didn't know back then, owning it now, really is how to do my own repairs.
Really?
You know, back in the day, if something went down, I had to call a technician. You know,
Right.
but I think it many times, sometimes customers don't realize what repairs they can do on their own. Something goes down, and first thing they do is, first of all, that unit is down, so you can no longer use it to make that plate that you want to serve.
Which is costing you money.
Costs you money because you're not getting the sale, and then it's costing you money when you get the technician in there.
Right.
And sometimes they're very simple things that can be done to fix that unit.
Right.
And I wish I would have known these things then when I had my restaurants, because I would have saved a lot of money having to pay technicians that obviously earn their pay by going out there and fixing your equipment.
Right. What is the number one piece of advice that you would give to somebody who's starting a restaurant for the first time, other than don't open a restaurant, that you have given over and over and over again that they just don't listen to?
Do your homework. Do your homework. I can't, you know.
And when you say homework, what is it that they need to look for?
Try to learn everything about your business. You know, obviously you're passionate about food, but you have to learn about everything. Just I was looking at you when you were setting up your cameras. You know your business. You know what every single button of that camera does.
Right.
So it's the same thing with the restaurant. You know, you can't just learn the kitchen part. You have to learn the front of the house part and the office part. It's knowing the business, knowing the business. So in doing your homework, you know, with the classes that the Kern County Hispanic Chamber offers, or you know, seeking advice from people that have been in the business for a while,
Right.
you know, you start gathering enough information where you can start making some good decisions.
It's no secret that there are a lot of business owners right now who are struggling.
Yes.
What do you say to business owners who are having a difficult time and let them know that not all hope is lost?
In life, we're going to go through many storms. You know, a lot of us are going through a storm right now, you know, but the storms don't last forever, but you have to tough it out. This is a time to just kind of sit back, analyze your business, and find out if there's anything you can do better to make sure you're getting some better returns, any way that you can cut any expenditures, but you can't give up. You can't give up. You have to keep going. You have to keep going. You know, once the storm clears, we'll all be back in happy land.
Art, this has been a real treat. Thank you for joining us here on Small Business Celebration.
Thank you very much for having me here on your podcast. Appreciate it, Mike.
And if Visioneers want to get in touch with you and learn more about you, how do they do that?
Sure. You're always welcome to stop by here at my warehouse, 201 Sonora Street here in Bakersfield. Or you can always call us at 661-864-7014. And, you know, either myself, I will answer the phone. My name is Art Ruiz, or my right-hand man, Jonathan, that's been with me for years, and he's a tremendous asset here. He's very knowledgeable. You know, one of the two of us will answer the phone and try to help you through whatever it is that you need.
and I'll be right back with my final thought. Self-confidence does not come from shouting affirmations. Self-confidence does not come from shouting affirmations. Self-confidence comes from providing undeniable proof that you are who you say you are. As we make this final push for the rest of the calendar year, we've got all these different distractions that are coming along and sidetracking us from this and that and the other thing. And it makes it very easy for us to fall off the wagon, as it were. So we grab onto those things that we've been told over and over again, those affirmations that we've taped to our bathroom mirror or that we framed in our office, or as we go through and journal our wins and losses, hoping and praying that things will turn around. And that we forget that the real way to win is knowing who you are and why you're doing it. Self-confidence does not come from seeing those one-liners and repeating those one-liners over and over again. Success does not come from saying, you know what, I wish it were to be, and thus it shall be done. No. Success comes from putting one foot in front of the other, one step at a time, taking note of those wins and losses and knowing that one step is one more win. And each one of those wins is what builds your confidence. Not shouting meaningless or sometimes useless phrases into the ether, although it may help at times or it may make you feel better. Success, self-confidence, comes from one step, one win at a time. I hope you enjoyed our conversation this week here on Small Business Celebration, and I hope you learned something that you can use today to grow a strong and profitable business, and we'll see you here again next week when we celebrate another small business making a big breakthrough.